Hello my lovely yogis. Today we have an energizing practice to help you tackle whatever you need to tackle for the rest of today. So all of the breath work and the poses, they're designed to help your body work effectively and efficiently to give you that energy boost that you really need today. Maybe in the place of that third or fourth cup of coffee even. So, as always, as we move through today, if anything hurts or just doesn't quite feel right, come out of the posture and make any changes you need. Yoga is going to look and feel different for everybody because we are all different and we all have different bodies. Practice listening to your own body and you'll really reap the benefits of the practice. With all of that being said, grab yourself some water, a cushion or a rolled up blanket, bolster if you have them available. If not, no worries, it'll be just fine without it, and I'll see you back here on the mat. Okay, so let's start today. We're going to do a little bit of breath work. So get yourself into a nice comfy seat of your choice. As you all probably know by now, I love to sit on the edge of a cushion or a bolster just to let my hip flexors not have to do too much work while I'm focusing on other things, but take a comfy seat of your choice. We're going to work on something called Ujjayi breath. It's an ancient yogi breathing, which is very energizing and it's really warming. It warms our body up from the inside. It's also called oceanic breath as well. It's a little bit tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it's really lovely. And if you've ever been into like a power yoga class or anything like that, you'll often hear all the class kind of breathing together as they move through the poses. It's quite nice. So what we're going to do is we're just going to practice for a second with our mouth open, and then we'll do it how you usually do it with our mouths closed, and try and do it the same way. And that can be a good way to really practice. So we're going to try and make a like H-A, ha noise, breathing through our mouths a couple of times. So let's start with that. So breathing in. So it's a bit drying when you got your mouth open, but that's all right because it's not how we normally do it. So now shut your mouth. That sounds a bit rude. Do it with your mouth closed. Try and make that noise still, and it's kind of like a bit of a constriction in the back of your throat. So let's give it a go. Breathe in. So it's kind of like you're doing a really gentle kind of growl as you breathe. And what the aim of the game is to take that breath through with us. So as you're doing moves, as you're doing poses or moving between, that you're controlling your breath and you're doing this oceanic breathing. It's hard to do, so just practice today and be gentle on yourself and kind on yourself as you practice, and just know that when you do start to tee up the movement and the breath in this way, yoga will take on a whole new level. So it's worth taking on the challenge, but just remember to be kind to yourself as you do practice it. So with that being said, let's make a start. So we're going to be beginning cat-cow, bringing your knees under your hips and your wrists under your shoulders. As you inhale, you're going to lower the belly, chest forward, look forward, and as you exhale, you're going to draw your belly up to your spine, pressing away from the mat and bringing your chin to your chest. But then connecting that up, as I said, with that Ujjayi breath. So let's give it a shot. Inhale. Lower the belly, look forward, chest forward, and exhale. Drawing the belly up, chin to chest. Inhale. And exhale, really rolling through that spine, really slowly, vertebra by vertebra. Now continue that at your own pace. Practicing with your own breath, own timing of your breath, I should say. Beautiful. Now coming back to neutral, and this time as you inhale, you're going to raise your left hand out in front of you, looking forward, and then exhale, draw it in, bring your rib cage together and push up to draw everything in. Inhale out and exhale, bringing it in. Now you can continue like that, working on your balance and timing your breath, or you might like to integrate your opposite leg. So your your right leg draws up, and then exhale, all coming in, out, and exhale, drawing in, pressing away from the mat with your right hand. Using all those stabilizing muscles and coming back down. Let's do that on the other side. So you've got your options again. You can use your arm as you do it, or you can integrate your leg, inhaling when it's out and exhaling to pull it all in. Beautiful stuff. Don't worry, that's just a toy Charlie has. She hasn't captured any animals at all. So now we're going to step our right foot up and just outside of the mat with our toes facing away from the mat. So pointing to the corner of the room, away from the mat. From here, just walk your back leg back a touch. And so you're kind of coming forwards on your hips. You've got that lean forwards into lizard pose. Now you might be up on your fingertips for now, absolutely fine. You might be able to come down so your hands are flat. That's another option you can take. Or you might like to come down to your forearms. Whatever version works for you today. It's a very strong posture, no matter which one you take. Nice big hip opener. So practice that Ujjayi breath, focusing on the hip, drawing that breath to help open the hips some more. And on your next exhale, placing your hands back on the floor and stepping back into all fours. Let's take it on the other side. So left foot comes up just off the mat to the side with your toes facing away from the mat towards the corner of the room. Move around a little bit here just to adjust, and then take your options. So fingertips, flat hands, or forearms as you need. You might like to walk that back leg back a little bit too. And breathe. When you're in challenging poses, your body can get a little bit panicked and it tries to protect you, so it tenses up. And what happens is when you breathe, you continue to do that controlled, deep breathing. You teach your body, no, it's okay, I'm safe here. And so it relaxes a little bit, it lets go a little bit. And as you do that again and again, that's where you can kind of build up some mobility, some flexibility. Lovely. Now coming back up to your hands and then on back to tabletop, we're going to come into a plank pose. So you're welcome to stay on your knees for this. Have your wrists under your shoulders, but have your legs back a little bit so your knees are behind your hips. So you're kind of leaning forwards to have your wrists under your shoulders. If you are comfortable in a full plank, that's absolutely fine. Have your fingers spread comfortably wide and press into all four corners. We are going to lower down though. So from here, shift forwards a little bit more, whether you're up in full plank or you're on your knees, and then as slowly as you can, coming down to the mat. Slowly, slowly, slowly. taking as long as you can until you're flat down on the mat. Just check your hand positioning here. Make sure your toes are untucked as well so your feet are pressing into the mat. You want your hands next to your ribs with your elbows drawing back towards each other here. And you're going to press into the tops of your feet, into your pubic bones and into your thighs to come up into cobra. So as you exhale now, and as you inhale, press up into a baby cobra. Breathe here for a moment. And you want this move to be strengthening your back rather than just pressing up. So take your hands out for a moment and just make sure you don't fall flat if that happens. If so, you might need to come a little bit lower and then check again until you find a position where you're really using your back. And from there, let's flow. So as you exhale, lower your head back down to the mat, forehead to the mat. And using that Ujjayi breath, as you inhale, pressing into the mat with your legs to come up into baby cobra. Exhale, coming back down. And continue like that with the pace of your own breath. Beautiful. Now, bring your forearms out in front of you so your elbows are next to you on the mat and your hands are going in a straight line out from your elbows. Again, pressing into the tops of your feet, into your pubic bones to get this lovely gentle back bend. So chest open and looking forward here in Sphinx pose. It's gentle, but it's super energizing and strengthening as well. Good stuff. On the next exhale, coming back down and just pressing through your hands to come back into child's pose. Let's just take a moment here to have a breath, to recompose. So we want your knees as wide as your mat, pressing back, your sit bones back to your heels and hands reaching forwards with your forehead resting on the mat. Use this as an opportunity to practice that Ujjayi breath again. And as you're in your own little cave here, you'll probably be able to tell why it's called ocean breath. It really does sound like waves crashing on a beach. Brilliant. Now coming back up, and let's move into downward facing dog. So knees back under your hips, hands out in front, pressing back to come up with the knees bent as much as you need into downward facing dog. Breathe here in downward facing dog, pressing into all four corners of your hands. And on your next exhale, slightly bend your left knee and swoop your right leg up into three-legged dog. Inhale here. And exhale, bend that knee coming up and high forward so your shoulders are over your wrists and your knee comes towards the opposite elbow. Inhale, back to three-legged dog. Exhale, do that again, but knee comes to the same elbow, to your right elbow. Inhale, back to three-legged dog. And last one, coming through the center, lifting up and shifting the body weight forwards through the middle and then stepping through into a lunge. Heel toe your foot if you need to, it's between your hands. If you need to lower your knee here, that's absolutely fine. And then we're going to windmill open. And as you do, pivot that back foot. So it's the back edge of your foot is against the mat and your toes are pointing about halfway up the mat. into warrior. So a couple of alignment checks here. You want your knee to be tracking about in line with your middle two toes. You don't want it going in or out at all. Tracking along there. Shoulders over hips. And your knee just not be in front, so forward of that ankle. Looking beyond those front fingertips, feeling strong, feeling energized. And of course, breathing. Now place your backhand on your back leg, rotate your front arm so your palms facing towards the ceiling, and then slowly glide your backhand down that back leg, drawing the front arm up and over, looking up at that front arm. Reverse warrior. On your next exhale, coming forwards and resting your elbow on your front thigh and bringing your back arm up and over this time, looking up towards the arm. And we're going to practice this movement a few times with our breath. So inhale here, exhale, coming back into reverse warrior, and then inhale, side angle pose, exhale, reverse warrior, and inhale. This time we're going to windmill our hands all the way back, rotating down towards the mat, and then stepping back into that downward facing dog again. Now, if you feel like you might like a little break here, you're welcome to come down into child's pose. So knees as wide as the mat and big toes to touch. Otherwise, you're welcome to hang out here in downward facing dog. You stay where you are. I'm going to flip around the other way so I don't have my back to you on the other side. And here, now you're a little bit warmed up, you might like to experiment just drawing your heels down a little bit closer to the mat without coming up on your tippy toes, just drawing those heels a little bit more as you breathe. And if you are in child's pose, slowly make your way up to meet in downward facing dog. Everyone being here, being in this posture, being in this moment, not thinking about what's to come. And on your next exhale, slightly bend your right knee, swoop your left leg up into three-legged dog. Exhale, shifting forwards, knee comes to opposite elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, shifting forward, shoulders over wrists, knee comes to the same elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. And last one, through the center, lifting, shifting forwards and stepping through into that lunge. Again, lowering the knee if you need. You can still windmill open and then come up into warrior two. Otherwise, let's all join in together. So swoop that front arm down and up to open up. Back foot pivots, pressing firmly into the mat with the outside edge of your back foot. Checking that alignment, knees tracking over those middle toes, shoulders over hips, looking out strong beyond those front fingers. And breathing here. Now let's move into that warrior flow that we were doing before. So we'll move straight into doing it with our breath. So inhale here, exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, side angle, reverse warrior. Side angle, reverse warrior, and then windmilling up and over, framing that front leg, and then stepping back into downward facing dog once again. From here, you're going to come right up onto your tippy toes and slowly, slowly, slowly lower your legs down on the mat, or your knees, and come up into a high kneel. We're going to move into camel now. So have your knees on the mat, hip width apart. So your knees are straight under your hips. Place your hands on your lower back, giving yourself lots of support through that lower back region. Draw those elbows in towards each other. So you're getting a lovely open chest. Now, we're not aiming for the back bends per se. What we're going to focus on doing is opening up through the chest, up towards the ceiling. So lengthening and opening. With that comes the back bend, but that's not going to be our focus because we don't want to crunch into the lower back. So inhale here. As you exhale, opening up through the chest, gradually looking up towards the ceiling. Your hips may come forwards. Just focus on that opening. And as you do this, you might like to just test out, can you reach back to your heels as you do this? If so, take hold of them. If not, keep your hands on your lower back and then opening up, chest open and lengthening up towards the ceiling, looking up towards the ceiling in our camel, and breathe here. So important to breathe in these challenging poses. The more constricted your breath feels, the more important it is to breathe. Let's have one more together. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. If your hands are on your heels, bring them back to your lower back and slowly, slowly, slowly coming back up. Now, if you're feeling a little bit nauseous, sometimes that can happen if you haven't done camel very often, then feel free to come back into child's pose. So knees as wide as the mat, forehead down, and just give yourself a little bit of a rest there. And when you're ready, and everyone else, then we're going to come down into Shavasana. It might not seem like Shavasana is a very energizing yoga pose, but it really, really is. It helps you absorb all the nutrients from your practice mentally and physically and just restart. It's just like meditation. Meditation seems relaxing, but it can be very, very energizing. If you have any tension in your lower back, place a cushion or something under your knees. Otherwise, just have your legs laying flat out along the mat, nice and relaxed, with your feet spraying out from spraying? I don't know the word I'm looking for. Just your feet hanging out from side to side and rolling back, palms facing the ceiling. And just take a moment to collect yourself here. Hopefully you've got a bit of a smile on your face, feeling energized, feeling proud of yourself for taking the time to practice today. And we're just going to do some breath work now called Samavriti. So basically what that means is it's equal. The in-breath and the out-breath are equal. And that just can be energizing. It is calming, but not in a way where it will make us really super, relaxed, like if we elongate the out-breath. So that can make sure you maintain that energy as you spring off the mat when we're finished. So whatever air you've got left, exhale it out. And let's go. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. So continue like that. And as you do so, just imagine that there's a beam of super bright, almost white light coming up through the middle of the base of your feet, the sole of your feet. And just feel that light filling up your feet and really energizing and warming you as it makes its way up through your ankles and your lower legs, feeling the tingling and the warmth and the energy as it comes up through your knees and your upper legs, through your hips and your fingertips and your hands. Really noticing that energy as it comes up through your belly and back, your arms, your chest, your neck, your face and your head, and shoots out the top of the middle of your head. And it keeps flowing, this line of energy coming up through your feet, energizing your body and shooting out the top. This never-ending beam of light running through, energizing, warming. And now stay here for as long as you have available to you, and as long as you wish to. And when you are ready to come out of Shavasana, just make sure you roll over to your side first, keeping your eyes closed. Lay on your side for a bit, and then slowly press up into a seat. Don't spring up too fast. I know you might be energized, but it could be a bit dangerous. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope that that's given you energy and you can take on whatever the day expects of you for the rest of the day today. I can't wait to see you here again on the mat soon. Thank you and namaste.